now going to go to Lynn Casey, CEO and founder of Shine Scout. And she's going to summarize a little bit of trends and reports of where we are in female leadership in sport. And so I have to just say this, and Lynn, can I get you to come over? So Lynn and I, we saw each other, and like speaks to like. Yeah. She was like, oh, that bright yellow. And I was like, ooh, that bright red. And then since then, we've been friends. So
best friends. Best friends.
You are going to love, love, love this. And I am so excited to meet you. And now for you to share.
Thank you.
Give it up for Lynn.
Yes. First of all, let me say I appreciate everyone sitting here through the end. If I could put my hair in little buns, I am Princess Leia. I'm a hologram with words of hope. Yes. So as Nicole said, my name is Lynn Casey. I'm the CEO and founder of a human insights and future trends consultancy called Shine Scout. We work with Fortune 100 companies who are all looking for the same answer. They're trying to understand the human journey. From Google to Instagram, Sephora to Reebok, I work with companies that come to me and say, where are we and where are we going? I think of this work as a form of cultural cartography. I'm a map maker. I track the hot spots of human desire, and I lead people to where we're going next. I love my work. And my most important compass, it's the human heart. I think it's something that we all feel and something that we all use. What I've been hearing a lot today is the frustration, the time it's taking for us to make the change that we want to make. And I'm here to tell you, this is my Princess Leia moment, I think we're closer. I think we're closer than we think. What's been a game of inches, I believe is going to be a game of yards. Why? Because we stand at a portal moment. We stand at a moment of great change. We've seen these before. It's like a 100-year storm where there's a convergence of elements that come together at the same time and make big change. The first of these is the maturity, is the coming of age of Gen Z. This is a cohort, a generation that has a bigger, stronger social agenda than any generation we have seen before. They are here to make a change. When you think of Gen Z, I will give you a cheat. Picture Katniss in the Hunger Games. She is determined to make the world a better place, and she'll go to any end to make that happen. The second event that happened that converged was the murder of George Floyd. It became a flashpoint about equity and social justice. And the third, obviously, was COVID, was a pandemic, where we spent 2 years in serious reflection and inquiry, trying to figure out what is this world that we've created for ourselves? Women most of all. And we saw what happened when we came out of this. We had a new agenda. We had a new purpose. And most importantly, we had a new urgency to do better and be better now. Women led the Great Resignation. We left first. We said we can do better. We can make a bigger, brighter world. We've also seen a rise from these women in entrepreneurship. Last year, more new business applications were filed by women than any year prior, and that is going to continue. And finally, the most quiet and maybe the most important revolution of all, how we buy. I think we all know that most households are led by women. 83% of buying decisions are made by women. And women have a new agenda when they shop. There's a sense of what are the values of the company? Who are they supporting? How do they hire? What do they stand for? We need to be aware of all these things. So how does this tie back to sports? You know, there's a reason throughout the ages that sports are where we come together. It's our gathering point. It's that place where we see each other. And I've heard it mentioned here today. I think it's where we share the best of ourselves. Sports serves as an allegory for how we want life to be. A place where we can cry together, we can strive together, we can console each other, and we can cheer for each other. It's sort of our dream of life. So last year I had the opportunity to sort of dive into this phenomena a little more deeply. A very large sports technology platform came to me and said they had invented this online training program for youth sports. And they wanted to see what the messaging should be and if it was effective. It was a fascinating project. I had no idea what I was going to unpack, and I learned a lot. You know, there's a lot of people who participate in youth sports. There's an estimate as of last year, according to the Aspen Institute, that up to 60% of young people under the age of 17 in this country participate in youth sports. That's a lot of people. I got to ask the parents and the kids and the coaches, why? Why do this? So much time, so much money. What is the value? I expected to hear about scholarships. I expected to hear about a leg up getting into schools. I expected to hear parents saying, you know, it's something for them to do in the afternoon. I heard none of these things. I had parents refer to sports as the third parent. They leaned on sports as a wise counsel to help them form character, to help them breed grit, to help teach perseverance, to help a teenager understand delayed gratification. They looked at me like I was crazy. They said, I can't do this alone. Sports works with us to raise the kind of human beings we want to raise. Parents told me, and I want to get this quote right, that by making a commitment to sports, they were ensuring that their child would reach their fullest potential as good human beings. That's powerful. What was really interesting is the people that were most virulent about this were the dads of daughters. They were passionate about it. They were on fire. They wanted their girls to be on a field, to be on a court, and be fully in their bodies, to own their power and to learn how to lead. They were passionate. And today, more than ever, to get to where we all want to be in this room next, we need these full-hearted, fully formed human beings. You know, technology and AI are marvelous tools, but what we crave emotion. We crave that engine of empathy. Again, that starts right here. And this is not just my opinion. You know, out of all the incredible AI and technology suite of tools that this technology startup offered these kids, the number one feature that the kids hand raised for was a voicemail feature wherein a professional athlete would leave them a message the night before one of their games and tell them, you got this. I believe in you. Young girls in particular responded to this feature almost in awe that someone would leave a message for them and believe in them. And I think that's where the gap has been. You know, when we talk about this middle school gap for kids, it's about imprinting. It's neurological imprinting. See her, be her, that has to happen between the ages of 5 and 8. This is when our values are formed. These girls at a very young age need to see this. And I think that's where the gap has been. And that's why I think we're going to catch up. Because we're making changes. You know, there's a moment right before change happens. There's a moment, there's something in the air. I have felt it before in the work that I've done, and you have too. It's the electricity of a runner on the starting blocks, right? It's a basketball player when they're standing on the line. It's a tennis player when they're back on their heels, racket in their hand. We know that feeling. There's a change in the air. I think today, that's what we can feel right now. There's that crackle in the air. There's that moment where we believe that we are going to bear witness to greatness. People ask me, how do I intuit the future? I think it's a call and response. I think the future sends us signals. It asks us questions. Who do we want to be? And what kind of world do we want to live in? I think everyone in this room knows the answer. So let's play it forward. Thank you.
Amazing. Another round. Lynn, the anticipation of standing on that line or being on that court and waiting for that moment is definitely what's happening in this room. It's what's happened in this room all day. So thank you for saying that in just such an eloquent way and sharing those trends with us and those insights, because we all want to figure out what's in the future, right? And none of us have that crystal ball, but we can listen and pay attention and look for that call and response. So appreciate you for that. All right, now I'm very excited to share. Recently, SIGA has chosen a new council chair, an Italian magistrate, and Giovanni Tartaglia Bollicini has been elected, and we're excited to share and introduce him in his first official act. So this is a big moment. Let's make sure we give a huge round of applause and listen in to Giovanni as he shares with us for the very first time in his new role.
Sport is a source of inspiration and shared values, a factor of progress and human fulfillment that moves billions of people around the world. Sport is a fundamental driver for both economic growth and social inclusion, supporting the Sustainable Development Goals, constituting the core of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. In addition, sport is a multi-billion-dollar industry with intricate ties to public and private interests. In this framework, female leadership in sport is part of good governance and is not just a woman issue, but is an issue for the entire society, and the sport sector in particular. As part of its efforts, Sport Integrity Global Alliance has promoted the 2023 Summit on Female Leadership in Sport. We all know that diversity of thought leads to better decision-making, innovation, and business. We all have to deepen how do we close the gender gap when it comes both in terms of revenue, airtime, media coverage, etc. Increased attention for female athletes and professionalism in women's sport should translate to sponsorship and more support for female athletes. The power of athletes to move the needle on pressing social issues to create a positive change, both on and off the field, is a force that is unrivaled. Athletes embodying the values of sport, such as fair play, teamwork, respect, and honesty, and I repeat, honesty, can fight social injustice, dismantle stereotypes, and create a more level playing field in all aspects of our life. As SIGA recently elected chair, I couldn't be prouder of the summit of female leadership in sport, which we are now closing. It was pure thought leadership, and I'm sure that every one of us is taking precious learning that will help us in being a champion of female leadership and to embrace equity as a value in itself. Thank you for all your support. And as Emmanuel Macedo de Medeiros, the CEO of SIGA, sustain and often says, we count on you and you can count on us. Thanks for your attention again and see you soon.
That's wonderful, and so great that we got to share in that very first moment. And now, there's only one man who could wrap all of this up today. Only one man who could really put a bow tie on everything we've heard today. And he's the one man who's also standing between you and a glass of champagne. So I'm going to ask to bring up the one, the only Emmanuel.
Thank you. Thank you. See? I'm not. This was not to create suspense or to be mean to you. I know that champagne is waiting for everyone, and we do have many reasons to celebrate. But I'm not just the man standing between you and the champagne. I am a troublemaker. I am a troublemaker because I dare to believe that if we really want it, if we are really committed, we can make it happen. You said amazing things that touched my heart and touched every one of us. I would like to use that as a starting point to appeal to all of you, to encourage all of you, to ask you, all of you, not to be neutral, not to be a bystander, not to think that this is just a woman's issue or it is just an issue for some. This is our issue, and this is our moment, and this is a moment where we have to pick sides, we have to make options, and we have to be accounted for. You mentioned the global pandemic and the trail of trauma it left behind. Did we all have moments where we said to ourselves, if we had the opportunity, if we could go back, we would be better? We would think more of others, less of us. We would be kind to people. We would give a fair opportunity. We would play by the rules. Because if don't, then what do we have left? And we are here, 2023. More than 8 million people died. And many more million are left with mental issues, with aggravated poverty that you see everywhere, including in the streets when we walk around. So this is our indeclinable responsibility to seize this momentum, to seize this opportunity, to make a difference. I have shared with you how frustrated I am. I will not accept more promises. I will not accept more run speeches. I will be what I have always been, a disruptor, a troublemaker. Because in the wise words of Kerouac, only those who dare to believe can make things happen. And if you don't do it for yourselves, do it for the person next to you. Do it for your daughters. Do it for your granddaughters. We spoke about the power of sport, the power to inspire, the power to motivate, the power to encourage, the power, as Mandela said, to change the world. But what kind of change can sport aspire to? And those who love it, those who work on it, those who invest in it, what kind of expectations can we have if sport cannot lead by example? If when we look ourselves in the mirror, as Katie was saying, we think we're formidable. Because sometimes it's easier to deny than to accept. Accept our vulnerabilities. Accept our gaps. Accept our mistakes. Even if mistake is just the starting point to the success. Let's do it, as Randall said, because it's the right thing to do, as MasterCard does. He was asked why MasterCard supports this cause. And he said, it's because it's the right thing to do. Why should we be embarrassed? Because we're doing the right thing. In our moment in time, what kind of legacy do we want to leave behind? What kind of legacy, as a father of 3, do I want to leave for my children? What kind of example I'm committed to do as elected CEO for a global organization, if I am not ready to give the example, if I'm not ready to walk the walk? And this is why we have changed our constitution so that we can have gender parity. And many other reforms that are underway. But this, my dear friends, is not the end of the road. This is not a one-off. This is just another brick on the wall. Another brick on the pavement that will lead us to true transformation, to true revolution, to true change. Meaningful, heartfelt change. Cultural change. And that is why we are here. That is why we brought fashion. That is why we brought technology. That's why we bring female leadership. It's because this is too big and too complex to be single-handed tackled. It is our job as a united front of committed individuals and organizations to lead by example. And let me tell you, it's not going to be fancy talking that's going to get us anywhere. We need you to put your hand not just in your conscience and do what's within your reach, but we need you to put your hands on your pockets and mobilize the resources that we need so that next year we have at least 100 female leaders from all over the world. Not those that can afford, but those who cannot afford. Those whose name is unspoken. Those who do not have the chances that many of us have had in our lives. And we owe this to ourselves. We owe this to those who trailblazed, who enabled us to be here. I have heard many people talking about the mentors, men and women who inspire their lives, who change their lives, who open their horizons, who open the windows and the doors. And there is only one thing I ask. Do for others what others have done for you. Create a pathway so that we can have excellence and merit at all levels of sport. So that sport can be this beacon of light, even in the darkest moments. We had here amazing athletes throughout the day. And we had a panel on female athlete activism. Have we forgotten what athletes have done during the pandemic? How they mobilized their voice, how they mobilized their belief, and how they gave us faith and hope to carry on when we were confined in our houses, when we did not know whether we could get supplies or whether we would fall ill and maybe like almost 9 million people vanished. Athletes are key. And we want to mobilize the athlete community in the United States to be at center stage. You have a voice, you have the power, use it. The moment is now. But I want to finish what I said by using words that are not mine. If I can find a paper. But words that echo what I feel. And with this, it's a CTA, call to action, that I would like to extend to all of you. Fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. This is our responsibility. This is our privilege. This is our opportunity. The words that I have evoked are not mine. They belong to a great lady, and her name is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. A legend, a true example of female leadership, a fighter and a pioneer for women's rights and human rights, because women's rights are human rights, and a great woman of law who was the second female justice in the US Supreme Court. What an example. How powerful words. So thank you. Thank you. To those who stand here, firm, motivated, ready for action, you are the evidence that impossible is nothing. You are the evidence that we can score and we can win. We can transform. We can cause an impact. We can create a path and a legacy. 100 mentees. Katie will make sure that we all deliver 100 mentees and action. That is what I wanted to say to you. Thank you to the speakers, to the moderators, to the MCs. Like last year, I live here in a hall. I live here overwhelmed. Powerful messages. Powerful message that inspired me, that will fuel me, that will make me walk or fly the extra mile if I have to. To our hosts, our founding member MasterCard, a huge, heartfelt word of appreciation. No cause can be won without champions. And MasterCard and the people who give a human face to MasterCard have been true champions. So, Ali, in you, I thank all the MasterCard team for what you have done, shouldering with SIGA, supporting the cause, and being a voice, a strong voice for change. To the sponsor of the Global Mentorship Program, Underdog Ventures. I know now why you have chosen the CEO. Ace is a powerful woman. What a rock star. To the mentors who make all this happen, a huge heartfelt word of appreciation. And to the mentees, you are the reason why we carry on doing what we're doing. I would like to thank also those who are not here, but who I know have been following attentively all these hours of thought leadership, of disruption, of change. We are a growing community. Tomorrow in São Paulo, we will have also another impactful thought leadership event under the auspices of SIGA Latin America and conducted by another female leader, Chief Operating Officer of SIGA Latin America, Daniela Castro. A big shout out to her. And to all those who also have supported us with the tech means, with the cameras, with everything. Thank you on behalf of SIGA. I feel humbled, but I feel fired up and ready for the fight. And because it is a fight, who better can we have than our team captain, Katie Simmons, who I would like to ask to issue the final word.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet because we've got because everything's been said, but just a huge thank you. I feel immensely proud of what we're building together. Very proud. The dynamic here today has been absolutely outstanding, and I've loved hearing the chatter from the outside of this room, the networking that's gone on. It's been absolutely fantastic, and just ask you all to join us in our collective effort and to enjoy the champagne toast. Thank you.